Hey, happy Monday, everybody. It's me, your old buddy, your old pal, Meet Mungus Merlo, or Steve. You can just call me Steve. Thank you guys all for tuning in here on this wonderful, I believe it's Memorial Day weekend in the States. It's no holiday here. We had a holiday last weekend. We had Victoria Day, but it's Memorial Day in the U.S., if I'm not mistaken. So happy Memorial Day to you guys. I'm not sure... I'll be honest, I'm not sure what Memorial Day is. That for the I don't know. You guys tell me. Let me know if I'm right. Maybe it's not even Memorial Day. How are you guys all doing? It's great to see. We got Christian Spencer in the chat, Michelle Blasky in the chat. Veltrick Fence, you made it. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it. Glad you did. Hey, how you doing? Drayton Sawyer, good to see you in the chat as well. So we've got a good start to the chat tonight. Let's have a good one here tonight there, guys. So, remember, in case you have forgotten, or maybe I didn't tell you, who knows, next week, I did mention this on the last live stream, though, but you might not have tuned in. I don't think Michelle was here last time anyways, or Feltrick Fence. So, but next week, we are going to try to do 7 p.m. instead of 8 p.m., so it'll be an hour earlier. I hope that'll work out for everybody. We'll see. I just want to try it. I have the opportunity to do that, so we'll just see if we can make that happen. You guys might be saying, "Hey, what's going on here? Your background changed." We got a new dresser, basically. We're doing some rearranging around here, and this is where we had to put the new dresser. So you'll see I've got my Leatherface from Michael Burns. We haven't seen him here for a while, Michael Burns, in our chat, but he sent me this around Valentine's Day. It says, "I'd hit it." I think I showed that when I got it, but yeah, it's a pretty cool little thing. I hope we get to see Michael Burns again. I don't know what he's been doing lately, but hopefully we see him again. He's a good guy. He was nice enough to send me that, so there you go. So yes, it's going to be an exciting show today. Exciting. So there you go. I did nothing on Memorial Day. Well, do people do stuff on Memorial Day? I think you guys just memorize stuff. Memorial. You have to, I don't know. Remember, is it about remembering the war, or is that, because you guys have the same as we do here in Canada. It's just called something different on November 11th. We have Remembrance Day. I call it Novembrance Day. But in the States, it's Veterans Day. Is Veterans Day and Memorial Day kind of the same? I don't know. Let me know. You'd think they sound like they should be. But, yeah. There we go. No new chatters at this point. Okay, so yes, 7 p.m. switch. Got to do my shout-outs here, guys. Well, you've seen him before. You'll see him again. Michelle Appollonia of Breathless Beauties. She has her awesome horror-themed dolls that she custom makes. Pretty awesome stuff. There's our buddy Leatherface. And then we also got Michelle Blasky, who's in the chat today. We've got her artwork, her interesting artwork for Miss 44. All these links are in the description, folks. And, just reach out to Michelle and say, "Hey, I like your artwork. Can you do something for me?" I don't know. And I think, Michelle, were you working on a website of some? I keep forgetting if you gave me a website or not. Say in the chat if you did. Well, I love the cows. Very cool stuff. I love it. It's kind of obscure. I like the it's different. It's different. You don't see stuff like that. Anyways, moving along. So, yes, Breathless Beauties, Miss 44. Links are in the description. So just go check out the description. Check out the Facebook pages and all that kind of wonderful jazz, and see some of the cool stuff. And just send Michelle a DM. Right? Cool. All right, and still more fan films, crowdfunding on Indiegogo. All the links are in the description. I'm a big supporter of fan films. That's what this show tonight is about. Specifically tonight. I always hit my mic. I have no room in here now. Now I'm jammed up in here with this dresser and everything. I complain too much. Do I complain too much, guys? Anyways, what was I talking about? Yes, the fan films, all the different fan films, crowdfunding on Indiegogo. You can still support both Halloween fan films that are crowdfunding right now. There might be more, who knows? But the two that I know about that I've talked to the people that are running those campaigns. They seem like great people. They got great visions. And so one of them is Halloween Evil Lives. Their campaign is going strong right now. And then the other one is the Haddonfield Nightmare. It's just, theirs is a smaller campaign. They're just going for like a Blu-ray and DVD release. Go check them out. And then we've got My Special Boy. They're coming down to the wire on their fan film for their Friday the 13th fan film. Definitely go check out those links. And what was the other one? Oh yes, Valentine Bluffs, who they've hit their goal. They're actually their campaign is now in demand. But hey, it's definitely still good to go support them and help them reach more stretch goals so that they can make the film even better. All those links are in the description, so go check them out and support indie filmmaking, support fan films, because we're the fans. We're the ones making them. Aren't we? Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. You guys are kind of chatting back and forth. It's kind of cool. Christian, and your writing, and Michelle. Yeah, Michelle's a writer too. So there you go. Everybody's got something in common, kind of thing. Yeah, remembering all the fallen soldiers is for Memorial Day. So you guys got 2 holidays really for that. Interesting. We just got one. It's fine. Thanks for the shout out, Michelle. Yeah, no problem, Michelle. Absolutely no problem. And do please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. I think all of you guys have subscribed to my channel already, which I thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate it, of course. So it means a lot. It means a lot. The channel is still growing, and hopefully we can continue to keep growing, because I love doing this stuff for you guys. Love doing it. Okay. So, with that being said, let's talk about this fan film here. This fan film. And before I even get into any thoughts whatsoever, just got to say a huge congratulations to everybody involved in this, especially, of course, Bruce and Dave for making this film. It's you could tell they put a ton of work into it. So my hat's off to you guys. You guys really pulled off something pretty special, pretty amazing, and you guys should be very, very, very proud of yourselves for what you guys did. So yes, congratulations. And you guys in the chat, feel free to share your thoughts as well. I have some thoughts for sure. I always do. Before I share any thoughts, I just want to say I liked the film. I liked it. Just make sure that that's clear that I liked it. But I do have positives and negatives to share. And, at the same time, just keep in mind that some of my negatives are a little nitpicky. Some of them are just creative choices that I personally would have done differently. And that's okay. No film is perfect, by the way. Not even my favorite film in the whole wide world, I can still pick out flaws. So, at the end of the day, I like the film. Did I like it as much as I wanted to? Probably not. This was actually my most anticipated film of the year. I have to say, it's this was actually my most anticipated film, because I'm such a die-hard, massive Black Christmas fan. You guys have heard me say it before. It's my second favorite horror film after Chainsaw. Both released in 1974, ironically. But yeah, I mean, I have some really good positives, and I have some negatives too. So I'm not the kind of guy that's ever going to sugarcoat it. So when I see things that kind of take me out of something, I'll I'm gonna talk about those too. And I'm sure Bruce and Dave, and they're not gonna be upset about me having a few nitpicks here and there, and because I'm sure they value some criticism. I'm not one of those guys that's going to troll them and say, "What a stupid, boring movie you guys made," And believe me, I'm sure they get a lot. They've had some of those people already, but those are just trolls. I've had my share of trolls on this channel, as you guys have all seen in the past. None today so far. So far, so good. I don't care. Like last stream, we actually had one troll coming early, and then he was gone. It's like YouTube just got rid of him early. So, good. Whatever. But yes, I do have to. I do feel like I owe it to you guys. I owe it to myself, even, just to make sure I'm always honest and talk about the good and the bad and everything in between. But we'll start with all the really positive stuff here, though, guys. Because there is a lot of things that are very, very positive about this movie. But there's one true star for me of this movie. There's one true star. Oh, Degree Centigrade just joined the chat. How you doing, man? How you doing, man or gal? I don't even know if you're a guy or a gal. Are you a guy or what's your... I'm guessing Degrees isn't your real name. Or is it? Let me know. Because I actually don't know. Meet Mungus Merlo is not my real name. Although my last name is Merlo. But it's Steve, yes. You knew that my name was Steve. So there you go. You know my name, and I'm not sure about is your real name Degrees? Answer me if you feel like it. I know we got a latency thing, so I won't see your answer until the latency time is up, and it's still we got such a slow latency on this thing. Maybe I can see it if I go on here. No, I can't even see it on there. That's okay. Whatever. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, yes. One really big star of this film, in my eyes. Okay, what is that one big star? Degrees, my name is E.S. Mario? Oh, okay, there you go. E.S. Mario, that's an interesting... Are you is that Italian? Kind of sounds Italian. Mario's usually Italian. I'm half Italian. Merlo is definitely Italian. I know I pronounce it Merlo, but as everybody where I come from pronounces it Merlo. And Mandy Cantone just joined the chat as well. Hello, Mandy. How are you doing this wonderful evening? Okay, so we're just starting off getting into the positives, my positives, and you guys can tell me your positives and your nitpicks. You guys feel free to share all your opinions because, we need to have them. And maybe you guys can shed some light on stuff that I didn't realize. Because, that's the thing with Black Christmas. I've watched it 3 times. I watched this new one, It's Me, Billy, 3 times now. Just to really try to see if I can pick up on any little things. Because every time I watch Black Christmas, I always tend to pick up on something new. And I think it was important for me to watch it at least a few times. But, yeah. But the one big star of this movie for me was simply Greg Bennett, the cinematographer, the DOP, director of photography. He was the true star of this movie. The cinematography in this film is outstanding. He obviously had an amazing team that he worked with as well. So I got to have my hats off to his team. The whole lighting team, obviously, I'm sure Greg probably worked with them before. Maybe not. You never know. Maybe professionals are just professionals. Sometimes it doesn't matter who you work with. But I do find a lot of the DPs that I've worked with in the past, they like to stick with the same team, typically, when they can. So I have to say, yes, all the cinematography was really, really, really well done. He's the star of this film, in my opinion. There's no bigger star than his cinematography. Some beautiful, beautiful shots. Of course, the drone shots as well. Just gorgeous. And at the same time, they had a fantastic location to shoot at, too. And just, I guess it just got lucky enough that it snowed the night before they began shooting. So that's amazing, too. So they got lucky there. And sometimes luck happens like that, and it definitely did. Well, I got a lot of notes here, guys. I have to look at my notes because there's so many things. But yeah, the location, yeah. So I mentioned location. Location was great. I wonder how expensive that location was. They had it for 6 days. Ooh. I bet they spent at least $5,000, maybe up to $10,000 on that location. Very possible. Very possible. Who knows? Who knows? They may have gotten it for free. But I would think with the budget they had, they probably had to lay down a few bucks. Really like the opening shot. I'm trying to remember exactly which shot was the opening shot. It was the car on the road. It was the straight down view of the car on the road. Yes. Very good. As far as other things I really liked, I liked the characters. I would say I didn't love the characters, but I did like them. They were all fairly likable. The acting overall was pretty good. Not perfect or anything, but it was pretty good, I would say. Dave did a great job of building up, Dave and Bruce, I should say, of building a lot of tension. Again, Dave's always said mood and atmosphere. So we got to see that on display. We definitely got to see that on display in this film, which I really appreciate it because, you got to put your money where your mouth is sometimes, right? And so I would say he definitely delivered on that for sure. I honestly would have wanted to see even a little bit more. I wanted to, a little bit more build-ups, in my opinion. You guys are chatting amongst yourselves. A lot of shilling. Yeah, I wonder how much that drone. I've heard some drone operators say, "Oh, you can use my drone for free." Other ones say they'll charge an arm and a leg. So who knows? Who knows? What else we got to do? Yeah, decent characters, decent acting. Great tension. Yeah, I mentioned that. So sound design is another one too. Okay. Obviously the audio was very professionally done. Apparently they didn't have to do any ADR, which is great. That means they had a good sound operator, boom operator, sound recordist, whatever. That knew what they were doing. Because ADR is a pain in the ass. I don't know. I think Michelle's in the film industry a little bit. ADR is a pain in the ass. It is. I had to do it for half of a feature film too. I probably should have done it for the whole feature film, actually, because the audio was that bad. And man, oh man, it was just a nightmare. It was a post-production nightmare. So, good on them for not having to do that. It definitely would have sped up the editing process. That's for sure. That's why we got it released as soon as we did. So. Yes, great sound, but I knew Dave is a sound guy. I'm a bit of a sound guy. I don't think I'm quite at Dave's level. I've only really been doing sound for a few years, whereas I think Dave's pretty much been doing it for his whole career, 20 years. Or I know he's a voice actor as well, and those two things kind of can go hand in hand. I only kind of really got into audio the more I got into filmmaking. because I was always having troubles with audio in the editing process. I learned my lesson. Susie Lopez made in. Hey, sorry you're a little late. Hey, it happens. You're here. You're here. We're just talking about It's Me, Billy. I hope you've watched It's Me, Billy. I hope everybody in here has watched It's Me, Billy, because we are going to talk spoilers. Right now, we're kind of just saying, I'm just kind of talking the things I like and whatnot. But we will talk spoilers a little bit too. And again, that's when I want to hear all your guys' thoughts a little bit. What did you like? What did you not like? Maybe you liked everything. You know, this movie has had a lot of positive reviews so far. I have to say, it's got a lot. I was actually even more hyped on this film going into because of the quick little reviews that some of the people that saw the premiere were saying. So I might have been a little overhyped on this one. I do feel it's not. I definitely do feel it's not quite as good as some of these people are saying. But again, it's all personal opinion. And again, there's lots of things to like about it. Like I've already mentioned. We're just talking about sound design. Oh, here's a good one here. Both of those girls that got both of the girls that got did a fantastic job at playing a dead body. I have to say, both of them. I probably give the edge a little bit more to the girl that played Emma. I believe her name is Shelby something. Because she nailed the look of Claire in the, wrapped in the bag very, very well. I have to give her props on it. When that came, I was like, wow, that it looks so close. It really looks so close. Mind you, she didn't have to do it for an entire film. What's her name again? I'm blanking on the actress's name that played Claire. I'm gonna come back to that, but she's great. Lynn Griffin, I think. Yes, I could be. Watch me be wrong. Lynn Griffin, who played Claire and was basically did that for the whole movie. That played that dead body for the whole movie. But you give credit where credit's due. Yes, she only had to do it for about a 10 to 20 second take, more or less. But it looked good. It looked damn good. And the other actress too, Malika, up in the attic. I was like, she looks dead. It's not easy to play a dead body, especially if you got any close-ups on your dead body. I've heard a few people complain about what's the actress's name that played Annie in Halloween? In Halloween 2, when they're zipping up the body bag, you can see her pulse moving. Well, do you know how many people know how to stop their pulse? It's a tough art. Yes, it can be done. Are you gonna be expected as an actor to be able to stop your pulse? That's a pretty nitpicky criticism, if you ask me. But yeah, you can clearly see her pulse moving in the shot when when she's being zipped up in the body bag. What are you gonna do? Anyways. But yeah, I gotta say that though. I mean, that was one thing I was like, oh, okay. When that, and the way they executed that shot of and her body's in the back of the car, and the way the blanket or whatever just kind of rolls off her, that was a nice touch. I was like, okay, I dig that. Yes, it is a callback to the original, but it's done well. When it's done well, I like it. I like some of these callbacks. Some of them felt like they were maybe a little unnecessary, but I do like the callbacks to the original. At the same time, there's a fine line. You gotta have your own ways of making Billy scarier. I like the eye, but if you're gonna do the eye, make it crazier. Make it even even in the original when they did the eye scene in the crack, you could see his eye kind of moving a little bit, like he's kind of just a little bit. If I was to do that, if I was to do it now, I would really make that eye look crazy. Like he's older, he's been through way more. I would have liked to see that eye just go crazy. That's what I would have done. Again, it's nitpicking. I still like the callback, but at the same time, it's like, I kind of wish there was more to it than that. Nitpicky, I know, nitpicky. Well, you can throw that in my negatives it wasn't gonna be. It's not really a negative. It's just kind of, it's what I would have done. It's something I would have done. I probably creeped you all out with my eye movement there, didn't I? I don't know. Maybe I should play Billy. I played the Unseen Man in Unseen, my short film, and it was kind of inspired by Billy and Black Christmas. So, but we did not try to recreate any kind of eye. Well, we did a kind of a cool shot of my eyes faintly being lit through the window. In that, it was kind of creepy. I just had wide eyes, but it's very faint. So you almost got to turn your brightness up or just to even see it. Otherwise, you just see a kind of a push in on a window screen. So it's very, very subtle. But it's like when you see it, it looks creepy. Yeah. Going on. Back to this. The editing. Editing was really well done. Top notch. Dave, you know how to edit. Because I believe he did edit the film himself as well. So, when you know how to edit and you've got the proper stuff to do it, it just makes sense. So just do it yourself. And it's a pain in the ass for some people like me. I don't like to edit. I do it when I have to, and I'll probably end up doing it for the Sawyer Massacre, which would be I'll have all these hard drives I'll probably be editing on, and because there'll be so much footage, especially if we shoot in 4K. And I kind of want to shoot in 4K because it gives me some a little bit of leverage on some of the shots. Ultimately, I think we're going to bring it down to 1080p. But I like the idea of shooting in 4K just so that we can have some make some of the shots a little bit easier to deal with and get the movement in post, sort of thing. Gives you that sort of flexibility. That's why. Anyways, I'm rambling a bit. I do that sometimes. So yes, great editing. Great job at playing the dead bodies. We mentioned that. It was awesome. And then the phone calls from Billy. Yes, Dave McRae is obviously a great voiceover artist. He makes his living doing that. I expected them to be great. They were definitely great. The only thing I would say, though, if I'm gonna, it's not really a nitpick, but I feel like you gave us all that in the trailers. That's the thing, I feel like it got all that in the trailers. So when it came in the movie, I felt like there was nothing that I didn't see coming as far as the phone calls. So I don't know. I do feel like this is a tough one. I do feel like there could have been more still, but at the end of the day, he nailed it. He nailed the voice of Billy. When I watched the original, every time I watch that film, I pick up something new in the phone calls. I've said that before. I think I've said that when I've talked about Black Christmas on this channel before. It's like you learn a little something new about Billy every time. And I like that about it. It's like you're discovering the complexities of this character. I thought we got a little bit of that in this film, so I like that. I just was expecting more. I think we got it all in the trailers. I think that's the thing, is we kind of got all of that in the trailers, and there was nothing new that we hadn't seen in the trailers for the most part. And so any complexities is kind of like, I don't know. Anyways, I think, but that for the most part, those are my positive. Those are the things I like the most about the movie. What did you guys? Did I miss? Am I leaving anything out as far as you guys? And again, I might not be leaving something out to me, but you guys might feel like this was really great or that was really great or whatever. But for the most part, I feel like those are my positives, and there's a lot of good positives there. A lot of good positive, a lot of great things to look at. So anyway, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I've been neglecting you guys a little bit here. Where was the last one? Billy looked ugly too, not too ugly. I think you never know what he should. You don't see enough of him to really know. But I mean, at this time, he's like 70, 75. I would say probably around 75. 70 to 75, I would say. You don't really know how old he is in the original, so we're assuming he's around 70 to 75. So, gonna look ugly. I really like that sound effect part of the score that you sounded like the piano being dragged across. Yeah, I wonder. I was on Dave's stream earlier and I asked, but I didn't get a chance to hang around long enough to find out if he actually took it from the original score or not. I was trying to find out who scored the film because there's no composer actually listed in the credits unless I missed it somewhere. I could not see a composer listed in the credits. So it was kind of weird because the piano thing sounded like something from the original, and a lot of the other score it sounded like pretty typical generic royalty-free stuff, but I could be wrong. So I'm wondering if there was a composer or not. Maybe Dave just kind of did it himself. I don't know. And maybe found cool stuff that he liked and put it in. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think Dave's a musician per se, but I could be wrong. That's one thing I don't actually know if he would have done. But I didn't see a composer listed, so that makes me feel like he just sampled it from stuff. Probably. Yeah. I have to admit, some of the score it works, but it does sound a little generic, and that's why I say it could be just stuff you can get free online. It could be stuff that you can pay for online as well, because there is music online that is typically better quality, and I think you can pay something for each piece that you want, sort of thing. It's not like super expensive, but it's not free. Christian Spencer, Billy reminds me of Otis Driftwood from House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm trying to remember which one is Otis. Is that it's been a long time since I've seen House of a Thousand Corpses. I think that's Bill Moseley's character, I think. Could be wrong. Yeah, I was thinking same thing, Christian. Okay. Ugly long hair. I always wonder, how do you edit 4K video? I would think it would take a really powerful PC. Depends on how much. Yeah, the more you have, the better PC you're going to need to have. So I had 4K footage for the last teaser trailer we did. We also had 1080p footage as well. It was funny. We had 4 different cameras we used throughout that whole process, because some of it was way back from 2013 or something, and then some of it was from 2019, and then some of it was from this very year. And the stuff we shot this year was all 4K, but the stuff from 2019 and the stuff from way back in 2013 was all 1080p, and we just converted it all down to 1080p in the end. But it wasn't so much footage that it was too much for my computer. My computer doesn't have a ton of space, so I know that. But we made it work. Anyways, I've got an external hard drive as well, that I've got all that footage on, just in case. It's good to have an external hard drive. But yeah, a powerful, a more processing speed or whatever it is. I'm not a huge techie guy, though. Is going to be better. The more that you have, the better, for sure. Steve, what's the best DVD 4K? What's the best on DVD 4K or 1080p? It's not really my my expertise. If I'm being honest with you, Christian, I think sometimes it depends on the film. And I'll be honest, I'm not really a DVD guy. I was one of those guys that when DVD was the big thing before Blu-ray even came out, I was like frustrated with them. It's like every time we'd rent movies on DVD, we get so much skipping, and they'd get scratched too easily, and it'd be like, how can we watch a freaking movie now? So I was like missing my old VHS already, Anyways. Michelle Graspy, I agree with that. Seems like Billy could have said something a little more shocking. Yeah, I think all the most shocking stuff were just said in the trailer, and that made me. I think what we heard in the trailer was good, but it was pretty much everything we heard in this movie. I want the subtleties though, where he says something. It's like, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? You think about it. It could mean this, or it could mean this. And I think that's what's cool about Billy is he does give you a piece of his backstory in that dialogue from his phone calls, usually his phone calls, and even a little bit when he's killing his victims and saying, "Agnes, it's me, Bill." He's saying that before he kills his victims, or whatever. And I think that's saying something. What is it saying? I think there's a couple of interpretations for sure. I'm not really here to get into that because I really want to get out all my stuff on this movie. So yeah. What else we got? You guys are just kind of talking about being on Instagram and all that. Great. Yeah, I think I know all of you guys from Instagram. Hey, Carlos, Lazy Reviewer is on here as well. Interesting movie. Must see it. Carlos, if you haven't seen it, we're doing spoilers. This is all spoilers here now. So if you haven't seen it, you better go see it. Eddie Halloween just joined as well. If you haven't seen It's Me, Billy, a Black Christmas fan film, go watch it and watch this after. Because, I don't want to spoil it for you guys because we are talking 100% spoilers on it during this wonderful live stream. So, yeah. Anyways. Anything else? Bill Moseley, a.k.a. Yeah, okay. I was right about Bill Moseley. There you go. Sorry, Carlos, if I spoil it for, but you should know better. Spoilers. I said even in my Instagram post earlier, spoilers. Big bold letters. Anyways, the Drayton Story 4K they say is the best, but I can't tell that much difference really from Blu-ray. It's really just the clarity of it. It's the amount of pixels that are making the image, right? So I mean, I honestly think 1080p is good enough. Even my live stream right now, it's not even this isn't even 1080p. I don't even think it's 1080p is called high definition, and then 720p is standard definition. I don't even think this is even that. Because I have to upgrade if I actually have to pay if I want to make this like a HD or a 4K or any kind of thing like that. It's weird. This is my phone, guys. I do everything free. So I hope you guys are okay that I'm not in 4K. I don't know if I want to be in 4K anyways. I think I see all my wrinkles. See any ugliness I really have. I don't look too bad in 720 or lower. I don't even know what this is, like 420 or something like 420. Oh man, I'm slipping. Okay. It's okay. I'm used to getting spoiled. Well, okay. Okay, man. Okay, Carlos. Okay, it's time for me to get into more of the negative aspects of this, guys, because I definitely have some. And I gotta say, I watched a number of reviews on YouTube from some of my buddies, some guys I know very well on YouTube. And we're all, and some of them are friends with Dave, and that's cool and stuff like that. And but there's more negatives, and I don't know, maybe there are some negatives, guys. I'm not going to rate this film or anything. I don't feel like that's something I have a right to do at this point. And I'm not really a reviewer, so I think rating a film like this at this point, definitely, I have to have seen let stuff really sink in before I can actually give a rating. But I mean, there are negatives, and I have to address the ones that I see, the things, and just again, keep in mind, some of the things are nitpicky. Some of the things are creative choices that I just didn't really agree with, and that's okay. I think there are certain creative choices that were made in this film that they probably knew that not everybody was going to like. So with that being said, it's okay. But there are flaws. There are a few flaws. Feel free to point out some if I missed it. If I miss any, feel free to point some out now. We might have some of the same ones. I've seen a few people mention some of the same flaws that this film has. That yeah, some of them. So just as a general point of view, I do feel the story is a little bit lacking. Lacking substance. I feel like there is a lot of exposition. Too much, in fact. Too much to the point where it's stuff we don't need to know. For an example, that entire first scene. Kill it. I would get rid of it. I would absolutely get rid of that first scene. Because it really doesn't serve any purpose to the story. And when I watched it, I think by the second time, I said to myself, I think they shot the scene simply because they tried to get the original house from the original movie and were basically told, no, go away. And that was my suspicion. And, well, they pretty much confirmed it. The one little bit that I caught was them pretty much saying, this is why we shot that scene. I get it, Dave, but it just doesn't really serve the story. You could lose that scene, and the story would it wouldn't affect the story in any way. It really wouldn't, because we still know that the grandmothers, we still know all this stuff. There is too much stuff that I feel we don't need to know in this, and I feel like some of it. And let me preface this again. I'm gonna say it again. I still like the movie. I still like the movie, and if it sounds like I'm coming down hard at all, it's my passion kind of coming through a little bit. It's a little bit of I naturally probably sound harder on stuff than I should be. Hey, you guys know my thoughts on the remake for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? So, does this fall in lines with that? Maybe not quite to that extent, but I would say both films I was super hyped for, and ultimately, I have to say I would have liked to have liked them more. At the end of the day, I would have liked to have liked them a little bit more. So I feel like there are too many things said. There's too many things said and too much conversation. Some of the stuff that's said we don't really need. It's like, do we even need to know that Jess's mother was an alcoholic? She's not in her. She doesn't really have a purpose in the story at all. It is good for character developing and stuff like that. But you know what? Here's a good example though. The very first teaser they released back in like January or something like that. I think it was January. Or no, it was around Christmas, actually. You're right. It was around Christmas. You got that scene. I got to start taking better care of myself. I don't want to end up like her. And I thought during that, I'm like, okay, we're going to find out some deeper things about our protagonist because of that. And all that conversation about that really serves as getting to know who her mother is, who's not even in the film, because I didn't see any that sort of flaw to that character, which you want to see. You want to see a character go through an arc and start somewhere and become this other person through the experience that they have. This is just me as what I've learned from screenwriting. I'm no expert, by the way. It's just stuff I've learned over the years, and it makes sense. The more I do it, the more I learn about it, the more I get criticisms from other people reading my writing. Very important to me to get criticisms, by the way. And I'm sure, I doubt Dave or Bruce are going to see this live stream. You never know, they might. But, I'm sure they would value that opinion a little bit. Even if they might not agree with it. They might not agree with it, and that's fine too. But they would value that opinion and maybe see what I'm saying. They would definitely probably see what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, I'm still a big fan of Dave. I still love his channel. I've been watching his channel since, I think, 2017. Late 2017 anyways, when he started covering all the Halloween stuff. So, I've been a fan of his channel for a little bit here now. So, it's just, I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. So, there's definitely some story issues, for sure. Yeah. At first watch, too, at first watch, I thought that some of the acting was a little shaky. And there is one scene where the acting is shaky, but I don't know if it was a creative choice or not. It's hard to tell. We'll get there. We'll get there. That's more of a nitpicky thing. But I think on second watch of the movie, it was like, no, it's not the acting. It's actually dialogue is kind of awkward. It doesn't feel right. And it's not everywhere. It's in such subtle places that you could think it was actually the acting over rather than the dialogue. But I'm like, no, that line just is a little bit off, and it's here and there kind of thing, right? So you don't notice it as much, and even if you do notice it, it might feel a bit subtle. It's not terrible, but there are a few bits of dialogue that I was like, okay, that should have been different. So, I would say that, yeah, the dialogue could use a bit of work. Not all. Some of it was really good. Some of the dialogue was really good. Some of it not so good. I won't get into any real examples, but there was. I'll give one example, I guess. And that was at the dinner table, when they're at that dinner table, and she's saying, "Oh, you guys are the best." And Malika, I think it was Malika's line right after that. She says, "Oh, but somehow you're just finding this out now." I felt like that was a very unnatural kind of line. Just felt unnatural. Yeah. Another negative, and this is kind of nitpicky, but the character of Sam can be a little bit of a downer for the most part of this movie. For the first half of this movie, it's like, okay, is this girl gonna cheer up at all? And I don't know. I guess what she's going through and stuff like that, but at the same time, it got to be a little much. It felt a little much, just a little bit much. We got the point pretty early on. Again, probably could have been solved by wiping that first scene. Again, the first scene just kind of threw me off a little bit. I'm not going to lie. The first scene, I was like, what's... when it first starts, I thought, I actually thought they were waiting for a tow truck. I don't know. Did anybody else think that they were waiting for a tow truck to come? I thought they were having car troubles, waiting for a tow, and there's all this awkward silence in there. I thought maybe a fight broke out, and we just caught the aftermath of it. That's what it felt like. And for it to go the way it did, and they just drive off, I was like, what was that about? What's, and it never came back in any way. So it's yeah, it's I think you could have definitely wiped that first scene out. In my opinion, it was just a little much. And again, I know why Dave did it. And it was an assumption I had, and I was gonna go on here saying I think it's this, but now I know it's this because he said it in his live stream tonight. Him and Bruce, pretty much they just confirmed it. So, I get it. I get it, but you could have done it in a different way. Just my opinion. You could have done it in a more subtle way. Worked it into the scene. If you were mad, if you wanted to sort of give them a bit of a fuck you, for not letting you use their locations, you could have just said it somewhere in the dialogue, saying, Sam could have said, "Geez, I wish that they would have let me. I wish I would have been able to go check out the old sorority house or something like that before they tore it down." Something like that. I just wish I could have checked out her old sorority house before they tore it down. That would have been good. Just in some of those conversations that were later, and it would have been there like that instead of a whole scene of that felt kind of awkward. Like, why were they even parked? I was like baffled as to why they're actually parked. I'm still kind of thinking about, like, why were they just parked there? Were they trying to kill time? And I thought, okay, maybe they're too early to show up at this place. But then the lady comes out and says, "I thought you guys would never show." So, no, that can't be the reason. Anyways, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm tearing this thing apart, guys. Because at the end of the day, I still liked it. I still liked the movie. But I hope it doesn't sound like I hate it. It's definitely better than the remakes, both of them. I haven't even seen the new 2019 one, but I know it's better. I saw that whole movie in the trailer, so let's not ignore you guys too much here in the chat. I still got more, by the way. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Michelle Black, I think that's all good. There we go. Yeah. Yes, too much exhibition, exposition. Yes, I think there was a typo on my list as well. The film is is a visual medium. Show don't tell. Yes, show don't tell. Show it. How are you going to show it? You can sum up everything with a facial expression and looking at a picture. We'll know that Grandma's dead. Maybe a tear run from her. If she can cry on cue, you don't even have to say it. And we'll know Grandma's dead. We'll know. Or maybe we'll think Grandma's dead, and then, hey, wouldn't that be a big surprise? Grandma, you're alive? Maybe, and this is just me getting creative all of a sudden here, guys. This is me all of a sudden thinking. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Michelle, for starting the creative juices. But what if she had like a newspaper article that said the Bradford murders writer assumed killed, missing for weeks, assumed killed. Then you'd set up as if she's dead, and then that ending would have a little more to it. Because why does Jess think she's dead if she's just been missing? Maybe, Just saying, it would give more. It would make that ending a little bit more make sense a little bit more. Anyways, Billy is shown a little bit much for me now. And I'm not talking about his face. It's his whole physical presence is a little bit too much for me. And this is just a personal preference. It's my own creative choice. If it was me, I would want to kind of do something a little bit different, a little bit different from the original, by having him in the darkness like the whole time. Really utilize his shadow, his silhouette. We saw a lot of his silhouette in the original, and even his shadow to an extent. But we got a lot of those POVs in the original. We only got like one or two in this one, I think. So I would have liked to see more POVs for sure. But actually seeing his physical form as much as we did, felt a little. Again, it's a creative choice. He wanted to show him in that sort of light. I don't know. I would actually want to show him less. I would say let's keep him in one dark room for most of this movie, and people who enter this room just hear his voice. Hear his voice, and then all of a sudden maybe there's a moonlight coming through the window that you can recreate that eye shot if you want, or you could do something different and maybe show his mouth instead. Maybe he's doing one of his weird twitchy kind of things and rambling on, and you could show some really creepy mouth movement. I don't know. It's just kind of ideas off the top of my head. It's not a script at the same time, so it's just the kind of ways that I would have it was the creative choices I would have personally made, and I can still respect them for showing Billy the way he did. It's just not the way I would have done it. I talked about the dialogue already. So here is a flaw. This is an actual flaw. You might not see it as a flaw. I see it as a flaw. Unless there's two phones up in the attic, which I think would be kind of weird. Maybe just a little bit too convenient. How the heck did Billy call Jess from right there? There's the phone there, and Billy, we know, is like hanging in the rafters, and must be a phone in the rafters, I guess. Maybe it was a cell phone. I don't know. Maybe he called from a cell phone. But even if let's say Billy did have a cell phone there and called that line. Maybe he did. Would Jess not hear him when he's right there? Like hear his actual voice? That I don't know. Maybe not if he's a quiet talker and he's got an amplified enough phone. I don't know. I personally think that's a flaw. I think that's it's definitely lazy writing. Hey, Joe from Fangoria Faithful's here. Sorry, I've been ignoring the chat. Steve, how are things going tonight? Good. I hope you've seen It's Me, Billy, because we're talking spoilers. Can't wait to check out. Can't wait to check out. Hope it's good. But just can't. Just what you said. They show Billy. Not too much his face. They do try to recreate the iconic eye shot. Definitely they don't show him to the extent that they showed him in the 2006 remake. Definitely not to that extent. But they do show him. So yeah, Joe, you probably should have watched the movie first. Because you're getting it all spoiled. Spoilers, people. I did put spoilers in that in. I should have put spoilers on the right on the thumbnail. That's what I should have done. I should have done that. But be forewarned, we got spoilers here. You can come back and rewatch later if you have to. Maybe a few of you did. I don't know. What else are some of you guys saying here? So wait, the sorority house was not supposed to be the same place. I thought it was supposed to be the same. Oh, no, it's not. It's not. They tried to use the original. So that's what Dave said on his show tonight with Bruce as his guest. They said that that was one of the first things they did. Is they went to the sorority house because Dave actually doesn't live too far from the original house, and he went there to say, "Hey, we want to shoot a Black Christmas fan film here," and they basically told him to fuck off. And maybe that's being a little rude about it. And I doubt they were like that, but and the fact is some people want their privacy, and whoever is living in that house at the time just didn't want a film made, even if they would have paid them, which of course, obviously they had the budget to pay for the location. The location they paid probably would have probably cost more. But at the end of the day, yes, they wanted to use that location. And that's why they did that first scene. It's almost kind of a fuck you to them. A little bit. I don't know if you call it a fuck you, but it's like, well, you let us use that location. You just shut us down. So this scene is dedicated to you. I get it. I've been in similar positions with locations. So I kind of get it. Christian Spencer, I like that idea. Stay with moonlight in the dark room. Yeah, that to me, it's you can do so much with cool lighting and shadows, and yeah. I won't get into what I would do. I don't know if I would want to follow. If I was to do a sequel, which I'm not gonna do. I don't know if I would want to follow just Bradford's family. I don't know. I would want to. I think I would just want to keep her fate as ambiguous as possible. Maybe, like I said in my that stream when we watched after I watched the trailer, I think I did a stream where I talked about what I would do. I would want to keep that ending ambiguous. Maybe set it up like, oh, somebody survived this, but somebody survived could have been the cat, Cloud the cat, right? Claude the cat. Sorry. You find that out at the end, or somebody else, right? Somebody else could have, just something like that where it's it's kind of the twist is, oh, did it just really survive? There's this little thing that says, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to follow her kids if she had any. And I've heard a few people say that too, is that if she did live, she was going to have an abortion anyways. Wouldn't this make her want to have the abortion even more? Especially if she thought Peter was the killer. There's a point there. There is a point there. If she really thought Peter was the killer, I don't know. I think she's running to that abortion clinic myself. She was already running to that abortion clinic before she thought that he was a killer. So if he did if Billy left her and she did live and they thought Peter was the killer, there's a point there. That I don't know. That's a point. Anyways. So here's another nitpicky thing it's with the acting of Sam, of the character of Sam. So that this is nitpicky again. Maybe it was exactly what they're going for, but it felt off-putting to me. In the moment that it happened, it felt more comical rather than freaked out. And that's when the car approaches and she just goes really hysterical. It's like, you can't even make out what she says. I was like, what? Where did that? It was weird to me. It was weird. It was just a weird moment. Maybe it was exactly what they're going for, and if it is, well, it probably is. I mean, it probably was exactly what they're going for, but it was weird. It was weird. Karen Armstrong, I believe you're new here. Are you talking about the remake? Because it was not uncommon to have phones in the attic. Plus, they didn't have cell phones back when the original came out. No, we're talking about It's Me, Billy tonight. So the new fan film that came out. If you're talking about what we're talking about with the phone in the attic. Yeah, I mean, it's possible Billy was on a cell phone. I guess we don't know. If you haven't seen It's Me, Billy, Karen, make sure you check it out. Because we're pretty much spoiling this whole film right now. In the original, the killer was not stabbed in the eye. Yes, I know. We're not talking about the remake really at all. There are maybe some nods to the remake in this. Actually, Dave said there isn't, but there is one thing in this fan film that does seem like a nod. We'll talk about that. Boy, Joe, spoilers don't bother you, huh? Just trying to make sure I understand. Sweet, I will. Okay. Yeah. The original was the killer not stabbed in the eye. He wasn't stabbed in the eye. No. I can't remember if he was in the remake. I'll be honest, I've only seen the remake once because I really didn't like it. We're talking about the 2006 one. I haven't seen the 2019 one. So yeah. Maybe he probably was in the remake. I can't remember. I can't remember. I remember the ending of the remake kind of was really bizarre for me. It was really for me it was anyways. But anyways, the thing of it was just a weird moment. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't call it a flaw. It feels like I should call it a flaw because it was kind of like, where was Billy calling from? What phone was he calling from? If it was a cell phone, maybe it was a cell phone. Billy could have used a cell phone, I guess. I just don't picture it. I guess I just don't picture it. But I guess it's possible Billy could have been on his cell. Maybe it was Agnes's cell. Anyways. Yeah, we'll talk about that, Michelle. We'll talk about that. Oh, Agnes was stabbed in the remake we're talking about. Okay. All right. Well, let me get through my list a little bit more. But yes, you guys know what scene I'm talking about? Sam running out there hysterically to the car. And just that one moment of, I would have just, if it was me, I would have just ran right in the car. Drive, 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 drive. I would have just said that. Drive, drive. You know? But the way she stood outside the car and was like hand gestures and the incoherent dialogue that you couldn't really understand. It was goofy sounding. I don't know if it was meant to sound. I don't know if it was meant to come off scary or like scared, but it came off more goofy to me. To me, it did. I did hear one other person say that they were thrown off by that, but only one. So that's all good. Hey, Jordan, J Carts Arts is in the chat. I don't know if you've ever been in one of my live streams or not. I don't recall if you have. Did a movie reaction for it to me, but honestly surprised me. How are you today? I'm doing good. I'm doing really, really good. We're talking spoilers on it. We're actually talking about all the things I didn't like about it at this point. I did talk about all my positives, all the stuff that I really, really loved. The main star of the movie being the cinematography, by the way. That's my big star of It's Me, Billy, is the cinematography. DP, DOP, director of photography, Greg Bennett. Hats off to you, sir. You did an absolutely phenomenal job. Like, we're talking Academy Award-winning kind of DP work, in my opinion. But we got to get back to the negatives because I do have a few. Yeah, now, here's something I was a little worried about going into it. And the fact that we already pretty much knew that Jess survived from the trailers and all that stuff. And I saw a few people concerned saying, how are they going to justify that Jess survived? And was it really justified? Because it was kind of the same thing we got in the trailers with Billy on the phone calls just saying, you let her go. In what I would assume to be like the Agnes voice. You let her go, you know? But why did he let her go? Maybe we have to wait for a sequel on that. I think we should have known now. But you know, I think it needs to, if Jess lived, if Billy actually let Jess live for whatever reason, I think there could be a reason, but now they definitely have to make a sequel. I would be shocked if they didn't, because that has to be told, man. To me, it has to be told. You have to find out why Billy is not only spared Jess, but is also now spared. It looks like they've captured them, but spared them. Why? Why would he do that? I think there's a way you can do it. I'm not going to tell you how. I think there's a way you can make it work. There's only one way I can really see that would really work. Again, it's not what I would do, but it's the only option in this point. In my opinion, it's the best option at this point. But I personally feel like you need that ambiguity of the ending of the original. Is Jess dead or is she still alive? I mostly feel like she was probably got killed. The phone call at the final phone call ringing. To me, Jess was always probably dead. But I like that it's probably. And I would like to, if I was to do a sequel, I would always try to keep it probably. Probably, but we don't know 100% for sure. And I think you can definitely still do that with a sequel. I think. We kind of already talked about the lack of depth to Billy. Again, I feel like the original, there's so much depth to Billy as a character. He's very, very complex. Very, very, very complex as a character in a subtle way. Those phone calls say a lot more than just gibberish. It's not just gibberish in the phone call. He's giving you a piece of himself, a piece of his motive, a piece of his past, a piece of what made him crazy in what sounds to be like very gibberish, kind of childish sounding, but it's there. The substance is there. So I was hoping to get more clues onto his motives, more that's going to tell us what has really happened with him, what he's gone through, what has made him the way he is. We definitely get that sense of a multiple personality disorder. I was ready for like a setup of like all his family living inside of his head, and so all you're hearing his mom, his dad, his Agnes, his uncle. Maybe his uncle will. I was ready for that kind of an angle. So we didn't really get that. We just kind of got this angle of he let Jess go. Still very, very creepy phone calls, but at the end of the day, I was hoping to add something. I was hoping that they would have added something to that character in that way, something in those phone calls that are just going to make me think a little bit more about the character. And that's why is one of the reasons why I watched it 3 times, to see if I'm going to pick up something new from the phone calls, because when I watched the original, I picked up something new from the phone calls like every time. So I've watched the movie like 100 times since I originally saw it, which was not really that long ago for me. It was about 9 years or so now, 9 or 10 years, maybe even nearly 10 years since the first time I saw it. But I was like, when I had saw it, I was like 31. And I was like, why haven't I ever seen this movie? Because I was always grew up on Halloween, and and I was like, I like this movie more than Halloween. After the first watch, I'm like, this is even scarier. This. Anyways, so yeah, that was a bit of a something I wanted more of. I wish that there was more. I almost felt like this was more the girl story, more of the main protagonist story, and she didn't really have much of an arc, really. And I was wanting more Billy. I really wanted more Billy. At the end of the day, I wanted more obscene phone calls that just gave me more pieces to his motives, more pieces to his backstory, and but still keep him hidden in the shadows. I see it in my head, but I'm not making a fan film of this, guys. I am not making a Black Christmas fan film. There's no point. I just don't feel like it needs to be. It doesn't need to be done. I do congratulate Dave and Bruce for doing it, because I think it's good that somebody did. But I wouldn't do it. Nah. Finally, the Agnes twist is a negative for me. It's good to have it. It was, for more or less, it was well done. I just don't. This is definitely a creative decision that they made that I wouldn't have made. Having Agnes be the one helping Billy, and I get it. It is a twist. It's well done. I kind of saw it coming a little bit. I mean, I was curious when we first met that character. And then as soon as the car drove up, I'm like, this is going to be Agnes, isn't it? As soon as that car was on, They're going Agnes. They're going kind of like the original, or not the original. Sorry, the remake from 2006. Sorry, Carlos, you used the word fucking, so I had to approve your comment. Yet the trolls get away through here all the time. So it's just my feelings on it. I wouldn't have done that with Agnes. I always like having my own ideas of what happened to Agnes. I think there are a few possibilities with Agnes. One, Billy killed her and didn't mean to, something like that, and he feels guilt, and maybe this is what kind of drives him. Like he's always trying to recreate that moment, so that because he always kind of says that before he kills his victims, more or less, in the original. Agnes, it's me, Billy. It almost feels like he almost maybe he wants Agnes to get away or not. I don't know. That's just one interpretation. I always felt like maybe he was trying to kill Agnes, sneak up on her, and she got away though. And now every time he's going to kill somebody, he's trying to actually finish the job. So that's another angle as well. I never felt like Agnes was kind of the one controlling him. I saw a comment from Michelle saying, where was that from Michelle? Why did Agnes yell, "Billy, get your ass in here"? When given the relationship, wouldn't they be related? Yeah, they are. They're supposed to be related. They're supposed to be brother and sister. I feel like Agnes is just really controlling him. That's what this feels like, and I think that kind of takes away from Billy. In my opinion, again, it is a creative decision I wouldn't have done. It's a creative choice that they wanted to do that, and some people even said to him, "Oh, is that your nod to the 2006 remake?" And Dave said, "Well, you have to have respect for that," which I'm glad he doesn't, because I don't like that remake. But you got to admit that almost feels like a nod to the 2000. I wonder if they knew that going into this, that some people are going to say that they did this in the 2006 remake. They brought Agnes in as an accomplice. And in this case, more or less controlling Billy. Agnes is like the boss. So, don't worry about it, Carlos. I mean, I've had to do that a few times, but yeah. I don't care about you guys dropping F-bombs or anything like that. I don't care. YouTube does. I guess. I don't know. Or it's something in the with the features I got since I hit 1,000 subscribers that I gotta see if I can unlock that. It's I do recall that, and now that looking back on it, I kind of wish I didn't choose that option, because I've had to do it quite a few times. But anyways, getting off topic. So yeah, that's how I feel. I wouldn't have done it, but I understand why they did. I just wouldn't have. If I thought that I had to bring Agnes in to create some sort of a twist, then I definitely wouldn't have made a Black Christmas fan film, because that's another ambiguous thing that I like about the originals. We don't know what happened to Agnes. What really happened to Agnes? I like keeping that ambiguous and just build your own theories of what happened to Agnes. Did Billy kill Agnes? Did Billy try to save Agnes from his parents or something like that? And maybe he feels guilty. I don't know. There's so many possibilities with that. I like to think about those possibilities in my head rather than just Agnes is actually his accomplice. And I don't feel like Agnes could be his accomplice the way he would talk about Agnes in the phone calls in the original, and the way leading up to killing each victim. Unless when they do the sequel, Billy actually kills Agnes in it. Because maybe he's always wanted to kill Agnes, but Agnes is always smarter than him or something. I don't know. Something they could do, but again, I just love the ambiguity of the original. I personally do, and I wish they would have kept a little bit more of that ambiguity. Just a little bit more. A little bit more. Anyways, that's my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts? I hope it didn't sound like I'm just ripping this one a new asshole. Because ultimately, I think I have more criticisms on this fan film than any other YouTuber I've seen. But at the end of the day, I still liked it. I liked it. But I wanted to like it more. I definitely wanted to like it more. And who knows, I might like it more upon more watches. I might dislike it more upon more watches. Who knows? Sometimes that happens. In fact, if I'm being honest, more commonly, I end up disliking a movie more on more watches rather than liking it more commonly. Sometimes movies just grow on me, and it's, but at this time, it was a fine film. It was good. It was okay. I can't say that it was a great film. I can't. I wish I could say it was. I wish I could say I thought it was a great film. The cinematography is great, but at the end of the day, you can have terrible cinematography and an awesome story, and with great sound. I would say sound design is more important than the visuals, guys. If you have great sound and a great story, I think I'm going to enjoy the movie more rather than a film with amazing cinematography but a crappy story. That's just my thoughts. That's just how I would feel. I need a good story. I don't like stories that don't make sense. And that opening scene it's not that the story didn't make sense, but there were parts of it that threw me off. I was like, is this going to come back? Is just needing to take care of herself because of her mom's influence on her, is that going to come back at some point? And it never did. I was kind of wondering, how is this going to play out? And it never played out. We got all we needed from that teaser, from the teaser trailer dropped back in December. And if it doesn't actually have a purpose, don't put it in. Don't put it in. If her mom doesn't serve a purpose in the story, don't put it in. I know you want to create backstory. Backstory's fine. But at the end of the day, it has to fit with the actual story that's going on. They all need to connect. And I still don't know why does she need to take care of herself? I really need to start taking better care of myself, she says. I don't know what that is. Is she an alcoholic like her mother is? We never saw signs of that through the entire movie. We never saw signs of that. So, I mean, those little things. I know it's little, guys. I know that it's a small part of the movie, but it throws me off. When I hear stuff, I think that it's going to come back to something. When you say stuff like that, it implies it's going to come back at some point. And I hate to compare. Now, it's reminding me of. Did any of you guys see The Disaster Artist? That was the making of The Room. I hate to compare this movie to The Room from a story perspective, but that was the one actress that played Lisa's mom. She's looking at the script. Why do I say I have cancer? It never comes around. It never affects the story in any way. And the guy playing Tommy, who was playing Tommy Wiseau, and it what's his name? I'm blanking on the name now. Whatever. He just says, drama. We need more drama. Gotta have more drama. But it doesn't come back. It doesn't fit into the story. It doesn't do anything to the story. So that is my complaint with that. I know it's a small part of the movie, but it feels awkward. It feels like it shouldn't be there. And you drama for the sake of drama, just Oh, hi, Mark. Michelle, you're great. James Franco, thank you, Jared. Yes, James Franco. I don't know why I blanked on his name. I'm like, I know who this guy is. Who? James Franco, and actually James Franco's brother played the other guy. See, I remember Tommy Wiseau's name, but the other guy. What was the name of the other guy? It was a great movie, by the way, and you know what? The Room is a case of so bad it's good. It's a terrible movie, but it's terrible in it's in all the best ways. But yeah, but those are little things I've learned as a writer and a guy who's made a lot of mistakes, who's had screenplays read and ripped apart, it's and I take the notes though. I take the criticism, and these are the things I've realized. Yeah, they have point. Maybe I disagree with certain aspects, and maybe I wouldn't have gone the route that they said I should take, but there's a point. There's always a point. And you don't have to take that route. You can take a different route. Make it your own still. And that's how but take that idea and learn from it. And to me I do think the writing should have been a bit stronger. I know, and I've heard a lot of people praise the writing for It's Me, Billy. I'm like, that's the one thing I can't quite praise. It's all right. There are some choppy dialogue here and there. And that, but at the end of the day, it's an all right story. I think that this with the story that there was, it could have been probably 10 minutes shorter, maybe even 15 minutes. I don't know. Again, too much exposition for me. Too much. Anyways, I've said all that already, so I won't ramble too much. But I hope you guys. If you don't agree with me, that's fine too. If you don't agree with the way I think of those things, that's fine too. It is, at the most part, it is opinion, but at the same time, it is stuff I've learned as a screenwriter. I take screenwriting pretty seriously, because it's something I've always been really passionate about doing, was writing. In fact, that was really what got me into film to begin with. I was a writer. I used to write tons of short stories, and then I just thought, okay, I'll try my hand at writing a screenplay, but nobody wanted to make my screenplay, so I just jumped into it. So, but I've learned as I've went along. I've taken the notes from a lot of different people, because you learn something new from and pretty much everybody that I've taken notes from are people that work in the business. And some of them actually work as screenwriters, make a living as screenwriters. So I've taken notes from all kinds of different people, and not just screenwriters too, and not just people in the business, but in like the publishing business and stuff too, like publishers and editors, stuff like that, book editors. And I value all their opinion. Some of them, I can't believe they actually went ahead and read some of my work, so that's great. Take the criticisms where you can. That's all I can say. I hope that Dave and Bruce would take my criticisms as a positive thing. Rather, if I doubt that they're going to even see this, but if they did, take my criticisms and just see the point and see the points I'm trying to make with them. And you don't necessarily have to agree with them, but see the point. Maybe he's got a point there. Maybe I wouldn't do it exactly like he's, but, because there's so many different ways you can do stuff. But I think they would. I think they're pretty open to feedback. And at the end of the day, it's still a pretty good movie. I don't know if I could say it's the best fan film out there, though. At this time, and I hate to say it because I'm not a Friday the 13th guy, but I still really like Never Hike Alone. The first one, not the second one so much, but the first Never Hike Alone, Vincent DiSanti. Never Hike Alone. I think it's just really, really well done. Maybe it's not quite as slick looking as Never Hike in the Snow, but again, story-wise, the character, you got one real character in this movie, and you just felt that character. It's okay to have that. That just went to show you that it's okay to just have one character if you can really make that character work. And Kyle MacLeod really worked to me as a character. I think the most disappointing thing for me about Never Hike in the Snow was that he wasn't in it. I wanted Kyle MacLeod back. I was like, where's my Kyle MacLeod? I was totally wanting to follow him again. But anyways, that's just my thing. But yeah, I probably would have to say I think Never Hike Alone is actually my favorite horror fan film. And maybe even that Justin Sands Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan film, Last Roundup Roll and Grill, that might be my second. Yeah, and It's Me Billy might be third. We'll see. Again, I have to let it sink in though, guys. Anyways, any final thoughts from you guys in the chat before I call it a night? It's we've been going on here for a bit now, over an hour and a half, so gonna definitely call it a night. But any final thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you hate me for my analysis? Or even though I said, hey, I still like it. I think James Franco is canceled now. I heard. What do you mean canceled, Jared? Interested to know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that, sir. Unless he was was he part of the whole Me Too movement? Did he do something bad? Is that? I don't mind James Franco. He's okay. In some stuff, he's good in some stuff, not so good in other stuff. That's what I find. Anyways, yes, have a great night, everyone. Nobody's got any comments they want to say. Nobody wants to rip me a new asshole for having criticisms. I hope not. Anyways, again, I have criticisms. Everybody, I feel, and I do feel like all the YouTubers should have had a little bit more criticisms to it, but it is what it is. So, good night, everybody. Please do hit that like button if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, all that wonderful stuff, and we will see you next Monday, but at 7 p.m. Pacific time rather than 8 p.m. Pacific time. So remember that. We're going for 7 p.m. now. We're going to see how it works. You guys all have a wonderful night. You guys are awesome.